is Jena Griswold, the Secretary of State in Colorado, the state official charged with overseeing elections there. The Democrat has called the president's statements about holding funding for the Postal Service, quote, voter suppression. Secretary Griswold, what do you make of this news that the Inspector General is reviewing the new postmaster's policies? I mean, do you think anything will come of it?
Well, Anderson, first, thank you for having me on. It's hard to say, but I do think we need immediate action. It's alarming that the Postmaster General sent a letter to a lot of states, 49 states, basically laying out that millions of Americans could be disenfranchised because of their service. That's undemocratic, it's un American, and it's Donald Trump's fault. The president clearly believes that vote by mail will help Democrats win, which is just untrue. And so he's trying to do everything he can to tilt the election into his favor. I think it's reprehensible, and forcing Americans into crowded polling locations instead of doing the responsible thing to do, which is expanding vote by mail, is just one more way that the president is risking American lives.
Can you explain, when you say it's voter suppression, how so?
Well, the president is specifically trying to withhold funds to enable vote by mail to work. He's basically trying to undermine the safest way to vote during a pandemic and force Americans to choose between risking their very lives and casting a ballot. And that's not just hyperbole. You know, we saw in Milwaukee during their primary more than 70 people get sick at crowded polling centers. So that is voter suppression, scaring Americans into a choice of risking their health and their lives to cast a ballot. It's 2020. We have a solution. It's vote by mail for all. And the president is trying to put in barriers to suppress turnout in November.
So Colorado obviously has a long history with mail-in voting. The president, has gone on saying, and the vice president saying mail-in voting is susceptible to foreign interference, which there's no evidence of, according to election officials, and fraud. Have you found any evidence of that in your state over the years? Is there widespread voter fraud in Colorado?
Absolutely not. And it's laughable that the president who invited foreign interference into our elections would make up some type of story that is more better placed in a spy novel than in reality. And the nation can look at Colorado. We have a history of extremely clean elections. We have safeguards in place, and we're able to have a wonderful election even during the pandemic. You know, in our June 30th primary, we actually set a state primary turnout record. So the nation has the tools to have good elections. It's really whether the president wants voters to vote.
I mean, is it too late to get the post office, getting things done right to make this move smoothly?
Absolutely not. We still have time. And I'll tell you, Anderson, I ran for Secretary of State because President Trump had formed that voter commission to suppress voters with Chris Kovac. He's doing the same thing again, and I will not allow him to suppress the voices of Americans. These are our constitutional rights. So we're considering all options, including legal options, against the president and the Postmaster General.
Hmm. I mean, I know it's not in your purview. What do you think about the country as a whole? Do you see this being a free and fair election nationwide?
Well, I do think that the silver lining is that we have expanded mail ballots in a big way for this election. But there are a lot of barriers being put up from the administration. Whether that's trying to force Americans to risk their very lives to cast a ballot, to meddling with the post office, sabotaging the way that we deliver mail, to falsehoods and lies about vote by mail. So I just think it's so important that every elected official, every elections official, and every American citizen start sounding the alarm. The rhetoric coming out of the White House is something that you hear under dictatorships, not in the United States. We have to act. We cannot allow him to tilt this election.
Jena Griswold, appreciate it. Thank you very much.